Seems the Air National Guard is flying low on instruments. Well, we've just left the car parked on Cross Road. Now we're on Route 9, and we're going to take a very short walk to get to the Appalachian Trail in our hike for today. Oh, those trucks are terrible. And now we've crossed over. We see the Appalachian Deli off to our right, a hiker's resupply point. And right at the stoplight, we turn left up onto the trail, heading north. And so our hike today will start heading north along a really pleasant stretch of trail, and then we're going to take a little blue trail off to see an outdoor shrine before continuing north. And then when we get all the way back to Route 9, we will cross Route 9 and then head up a hill. And at the right-hand side of this elevation diagram, we can see that this hill takes us up about 500 feet in about a mile. Here we are at the beginning of our hike, and we are making a tiny little climb up, and we are going to make our way to the Graymore Spiritual Life Center. And the Graymore Center is home to the Franciscan Friars of the Atonement and the Franciscan Sisters of the Atonement. As we look to the right, that will be where the facilities are. We don't see them in this particular image, but farther you would have the facilities of the center. And we're just going to take a walk right across this mown area and get into the woods again. Now, shortly after crossing that, we come across one of my favorite trees. And that will bring us across a short road, and then we're onto a really nice stretch of trail, which will go on for a couple miles or a few miles. And it's really a pleasant trail. It's great for running if you want to run. Certainly when I get back into shape, I'll be running along here. A few rocks here and there, but it's not terrible. Some areas even look like old roads, and they're really quite smooth. The inclines are nothing really. It rolls a little here and there, but it's really quite pleasant for running and hiking. And when you get about 2.5, maybe 3 miles out, you can find a really spectacular view as well. And here at about 1.4 miles north of Route 9, we encounter a blue trail, and this will lead us to a shrine. La Virgen Misionera Madre de los Inmigrantes. Pardon my accent. This was a facility that certainly was present in 2006. There was a Poughkeepsie Journal article, I believe, about this. As of 2014, it was still really nicely intact. On this altar that you've just seen, there was a wooden structure. Why that wooden structure is no longer there, whether it was destroyed by weather or by others, I don't know. I don't know too much about it, but in 2017, a hiker came upon it and found that 2017 or 2018 found the structure destroyed. I have links below in the description so you can read some of the articles yourself. It would be a great place for a family picnic. This was an area where the Latino community would spend Sundays and have religious activities and gatherings, and it really must have been really quite wonderful. Personally, I think it's a great place for reflection, as virtually all of us are descended from immigrants. And all those people that have made these journeys, whether it's been a long time ago or whether it has been recent, have shown great courage. And we certainly hope that when they arrive in their new home, that they will find the life that they have come here for. And now about a mile and a half north of Madre de los Inmigrantes, we come up to an area that will, on most days, provide a really nice view. We climb up the hill, and what will we find? Oh, and there it is, as I told you. What a view indeed. You probably haven't seen mist like this ever before, and if you want to see mist, this is probably the place to go. I'll even step up on this rock to give you a extraordinary vista. Look at that. You can see trees 50 feet away. It's just extraordinary. But to be serious, this really does provide a very nice view on a good day. You can see the hills in the background. It's really quite spectacular, even despite the fact that you have trees that have grown up in the area. But it is really a nice, pleasant view. And now we descend the hill and then start rising again. And this is an area where we're really pleased to have a pair of Hoka Speedgoat 4s on our feet, as this area can get pretty rocky. And on a day like this, where it's really misty, the rocks are, or can be, as slick as can be. And the Hoka Speedgoat have the Vibram Mega Grip soles, which are spectacular at gripping the wet rocks. So if you would like to get out on the trail, I would certainly recommend a pair of Hoka Speedgoats, as they're great for running, of course. That's what they're made for. But they're great for hiking as well. They do well on flat ground, and where they truly excel, as I said, is on wet rocks, which you certainly see a lot of on the Appalachian Trail. And yeah, all this rubble and a view up the hill really tells us, or reminds us, that these Appalachian Mountains, though they might not seem the biggest, were once mountains of true magnificence. And what we are walking on really is just a lot of rubble that has resulted from millions and millions of years of erosion. We're about to turn around just south of Old Albany Post Road. And on our way back, we had fairly spectacular occurrence. I heard a jet flying over, and as it got closer, it got extremely loud. And the only thing it could be would be a military jet. I heard it circle out, then lost it for a while. Came out, but I still didn't get my phone out in time. Finally, on the third pass, I got my phone out, and you should be able to hear the roar of the jet, but unfortunately, this passed over maybe a mile or two north of me, so we didn't get a really great example of the roar of the jet, but certainly this must have been the Air National Guard practicing low-level instrument flying. Stewart Airport is a base of the Air National Guard and is very close to where we're walking. And so we've now made it back to Route 9, and we are strolling along a little boardwalk over a marsh. We are going to climb over this old stone wall, go back into the woods, and then we'll get on what was an old road, or at least appears to be an old road. Follow that for a short distance, and then we start a fairly steep climb. It has an average pitch of about 500 feet per mile. Most of the way up on this climb, I came across a stone wall, and stone walls are really magnificent in this area. If you like looking at them, this is a place to go. But boy, I could not imagine trying to build this stone wall on this slope, carrying the rocks up the hills and trying to place them as I'm sure they roll down. It must have been quite a difficult undertaking. Ultimately, we're going to take this up to an intersection of the Appalachian Trail and a blue trail that goes off to the north. And that stretch of the Appalachian Trail is an ultimately runnable trail. Now we're just back down at the bottom, walking towards Route 9. There is the Appalachian Deli off to the left. And look at that mist. Just remember the military jets that were flying low altitude through this, and certainly a very dangerous endeavor. And so ultimately that brings us to an end of our hike for today. I hope you'll come out and join us in the Hudson Valley and see some of these little unique pockets of humanity that we have along the trail. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the trails.